Hi there guys, thought I'd do a quick lesson because I've had a ton of emails, actually over the past few years I should say really, about a certain technique that I use that really isn't mine per se, but I use it maybe in a slightly unique way, which is basically the little trills or slides that I do at the end of notes. And I'll do this with any finger, but generally with the first or second finger. So just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, something along these lines. So those kind of trills basically. Now it's very similar to a technique that Greg Howe uses, and George Lynch was probably one of the first guys to use the technique. The difference between the way I'm doing it and the way they're doing it is quite subtle, but my technique is, well, actually more subtle. It's slightly less of a movement. Greg Howe, although I struggle to do this well, would often do wider motions, that kind of a sound, whereas mine, it's more akin to a traditional trill, where you trill from a lower note to a higher note, the lower note being the note that you want in terms of the harmony. But in this way, I think it's got more of a vocal quality than doing a standard trill. And it's very easy to do. Basically, there's a little bit of control required in terms of practice in getting it to be in time. Now, when I say in time, obviously it's very fast. We're not too worried about the rhythmic subdivision that's going on here in terms of where, when are you on this note, when are you on this note. The point in terms of the time is starting and stopping it in the right place so that you can continue the line. Okay, so when I do it, I'll generally do one of two things. This is very obvious to say, but I'll either do it immediately or I'll wait. Most people, myself included, find this harder to do with these two fingers, the third and the little finger. But with the first two fingers, it's quite a simple technique to do. Now, it's really cool, it's very vocal, and I do it all the time. In fact, I probably do it a little bit too much, but it brings me on to quite an important topic, which basically is a very short thing, but it's really, really important. And that is to try and shape the end, or in some cases, the beginning of the notes that you play. When I say shape, what I mean is either slide into those notes, do some vibrato on the ends of those notes, shape them with the whammy bar, just things that are going to make those notes slightly more vocal in terms of their quality. Because if I play a solo and I just play the notes, i.e. I don't shape the beginning of them, we get something like this. I'm going to struggle not to shape all of these, but we'll see what happens. So in there I had a few slides, and I did slide into those notes, but it wasn't really sliding other than to get to a new position. Now let's just say we take sliding in and out of notes. If I do... Immediately just doing that has lent a much more kind of interesting vocal quality to my phrasing. So something you definitely want to do. For instance, I was sliding into a lower note, playing a high note and then sliding out of that note. Notice the pinched harmonic there as well, just to add a little bit of interest. I find those things happen automatically now, but first you have to think about them. So the thing you could do, obviously you could do this little trilling idea that we talked about at the beginning. Okay, that's a really cool thing to do. So yeah, I mean that works. You could also do kind of like little bends, for instance. And then the whammy bar comes in very useful. I very rarely will just play a note and hold it. Obviously we're not talking about just basic vibrato here. You should be doing that anyway. There isn't a single playing style in existence that I know of that just requires... See, I can't even help it. I grab the whammy bar and I'm away, basically. I need to hear some vocal quality on those notes. So consider those things when you're playing, basically. And you could practice improvising very slowly, just choosing a certain type of nuance and practicing and improvising using that nuance as much as possible. Okay, so a short lesson, and I hope it's coming useful. Loads more updates to my website fairly soon. I've got a ton more lessons. Legato Part 2 is being finished now, so that should be out fairly soon. There'll be a third part to that legato lesson as well, and then lots of other material, new practice sessions, so on and so forth. So apologies for the lack of material recently, just been so busy, but it is going to be updated very soon. Okay, thanks very much guys, see you soon.